All right, so for our first problem, what we need is our fractions to match, and we need them in mixed number form so that we can push it across. We're going to take 3 times 2 is 6, 2 more than that is 8, so we'll have negative 8 over 3. 4 times 6 is 24, so I have 24 sixths plus 1, 25. The last step is to take and make them common denominator, so I'm going to double this side. Times 2 times 2, we'll have negative 16 over 6 plus 25 over 6. Add those together, you'll get 9 over 6. Reduce that to 3 over 2. On this one, we've got subtract and negative. Same thing as add, so 4.2, 5.2, 9.4. On this one, pretty much the same process as number 1. We're going to get 5 over 2 plus 15 over 4, 12 plus 3. And then I need a common denominator, so this will change to 10 over 4 plus 15 over 4, and I'm going to leave it as 25 over 4. You could make this 6 1/4 if you wanted to. I would keep it right here because your answer is correct, and all you can do is miss it by changing it from there. But make sure you check with your teacher, and that's what they want. On number 4, I'm going to get that mixed number again. This is going to be 7 over 3. And keep change flip. If you've got a number and you're dividing by it, you can multiply by the reciprocal, and it'll give you that same answer. Do a little cross reduce. 2 times 1, 1 times 7, all done. This next one, negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Negative 14 times negative 3 is positive 42. We're all done there. This one, adding common denominator, I need 1. So we'll multiply by 6 over 6, get 12 over 30. We'll multiply by 5 over 5 and get 5 over 30. 5 plus 12 is 17. 17 over 30. On this next one, divide both sides by 5, and you will get x equals 7. So pull that 7 from both sides, you'll get x is equal to 3. On this one, pull the 1 first, you'll get negative 2x is equal to 8, x is equal to negative 4 after you divide both sides by negative 2. Really make sure that you watch those negatives. They will sneak up on you from time to time. For number 10, the first thing I'm going to do is push these two together. I'll get 7 plus 2x is equal to 19. That way I get that out of the way, don't have to worry about the negative anymore. And I can pull that 7 and divide my 2 off in relative peace and comfort. I really don't like having those negatives hang around if I can avoid it. On this one, you can distribute the 4 or divide it off. I'm going to distribute because that's what most of you will probably end up doing. Pull that 4 from both sides. We'll get 4x is equal to 24. X is equal to 6. And no matter how you solve it, you should get that same answer. On number 12, we're going to distribute the negative sign. We'll get 7 minus 2 plus 2x, or plus x rather, and then equal to 12. That'll give us 5 plus x is equal to 12. Pull the 5 from both sides, x is equal to 7, and we're all done. Sliding it on down. We've got all this action right here. I'm going to distribute that 4. 12 minus 8x is equal to 8 minus 6x. We're going to add the 8 to both sides. We'll get 12 is equal to 8 plus 2x once we add that 8x to both sides. Pull the 4. I'll get 4 is equal to 2x, or pull the 8 rather. 4 is equal to 2x. Divide the 2 off. X is equal to 2, and we're all done. On this one, add the 4 to the other side. 11x minus 2 is equal to 3. Add that 2 to both sides. 11x is equal to 5. Now you're going to get an ugly fraction here. Don't worry too much about it. That is your answer. You won't have a calculator, so we're not going to punch it out and get a crazy decimal. We're just going to leave it just like that. On number 5, we've got 5 is equal to 3. I'm going to take that 2 and distribute it on in. Negative 10 plus 6x. This is going to turn into a negative 7. And again, when I move this over, take care of those positive and negative integer values. You can get all kinds of confused and turned around. You know, when you've got those negatives, you're distributing all that kind of stuff. On number 16, there are lots of ways to do this. You can get a common denominator, take this to 2 over 10, 5 over 10, with x's attached. What I'm going to do is take the entire equation and multiply it by 10. That completely eliminates my fraction. Now, when you do this, there are a lot of things. You just got to make sure each term gets hit with that 10. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, times x is 2x. 10 divided by 2 is 5, times x is 5x, and then 10 times 7 is 70. This is one way to do it. There are lots of ways to do it. This is my personal favorite way. 7x is equal to 70, pull the 7, x is equal to 10, and we're all done there. On 17, you may be tempted to clear that fraction first. You can do that, multiply by 5 and get rid of it. I would move the 7 first. Why would I move the 7 first? It makes your problem a little bit easier when you do move that fraction around. I've got 2x over 5. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 to eliminate that denominator. 6 times 5 is 30. And now it's an easy problem. Divide by 2, and I'll get x equal to 15. On this one, I would clear the fraction first. The reason, when you subtract this 1/3 to the other side, you're going to get a mixed number. You're going to get a fraction. You can do that and get 8 over 9 if you want to. I'm going to take and multiply the entire equation by 15 to clear my fraction right up front and not have to deal with it. So 15 divided by 5 is 3 times 2 is 6. 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 1 is 5, and then 15 times 3 is 45. At this point, you're going to move the 5 over, and again, you're going to get a weird fraction. 40 over 6 is not pleasant, but you don't have to reduce this to a decimal. I'm just going to pull a 2 out of both of them to get a simplified fraction and be done. On this one, I'm going to distribute the 3. That gives me 3x plus 3. I'm going to distribute the 1/2. That gives me 5 plus x. Again, 10 divided by 2 is 5 times 1 is 5. 2x divided by 2 is x times 1 is x. And at that point, I'm just massaging this equation down. 2 plus x, subtract the x. 2x equal to 2, x equal to 1. Done with that one. Number 20. Distribute that 2/3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, times 2 is 8. 9 divided by 3 is 3, times 2 is 6. And we'll slap an x on there. The 2 minus x will stay. I'm going to subtract the 8 to the other side. 6x is equal to negative 6 minus x. Add the x to the other side. And we'll get 7x is equal to negative 6. Divide the 7 off. X is equal to negative 6 over 7. And we're done with that problem. Moving right along. Cross multiply. That's what I would do on all of your proportions. Not that it's always the best way, but if you are struggling and you need a way that works every single time, cross multiplication will do that for you. You've always got something to do. Now, some of my fancy students are going to use reduction first. They might do some other shortcuts, but I like this process. Bottom times top, bottom times top. You know, you've seen how it works in class. It just gives you a way that works every single time. And from there, once you get it set up, now you're just solving. Just like any other problem, solving it out. This last one, cross multiply, I've got 2 times 2c plus 6. I've got 5 times 4. Distribute the 2. Pull the 12. Divide the 2 off. All done. All right, just a few more. When we're solving for x, you're going to use the same process you would with numbers. They're just letters. So I want to move this b to the other side. I'm going to subtract it. I want to get this a off my x value. I'm going to divide it off. And that's it. And that's it. When I look at 25, the same process. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply by 2 because my x is being divided by 2. Everything else stays the same except for that 2 is now on the other side. I've got a times b multiplied by my x, so I'm going to divide that ab off. It's the same process that you would use to solve with a number. My last one, 2 options. I'm going to show you the one that many of you will probably take, distributing the a to get rid of your parentheses. That's a fine way to do it. Make sure the a goes to the x and the b. Then I'm going to subtract that number ab from both sides. It's just a number, just like 7. If it was 3x plus 7 is equal to 12, you would minus the 7 to the other side. So that's what we're going to do with that ab. The last step is to divide the number that's attached to x off. And you've got your answer. The other way to do it is to take and divide this a off right at the beginning. So we divide both sides by a, and that'll give you x plus b is equal to c over a. You subtract the b, and you'll notice these two answers, though they look a little different. If I divide that a into c, you get this term. If I divide the a into ab, you get that term. So they are going to be the same.